Hello. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying the energies. There's a lot going on there's always something going on, but I guess with the holidays, there's a feeling of really going all out. There's a lot of aspects being made to Jupiter, the planet of luck, abundance, overdoing it, and with it in the sign of Taurus. Taurus involves your self-worth, luxuries, feeling good, satisfying all five of your senses. There could be a lot of indulgence. Things can be inflated. There's aspects to Mercury, which is great. Mercury being in Capricorn, which is all about taking care of business. Mercury's communication, commerce, ideas, negotiations, planning. So with the trine to Jupiter and Taurus, I consider this to be strategizing for stability. And Jupiter is in retrograde at the moment. Mercury is in retro shadow, so it's getting ready to retrograde. It's currently at 6 degrees, and it will retrograde at 8 degrees next week, right after the new moon. And that's pretty significant. So the things that we're doing right now, we're going to have the opportunity to review and reflect and revise those things when it goes backwards and back over those previous degrees in Capricorn. So from 8 back to 0 in Capricorn, and it'll be trining Jupiter and sextiling Saturn in Pisces. And so those are awesome energies. Saturn is going to really help us discern what's important and what is in alignment, and with making sure that we are acting with integrity. When it moves back into Sagittarius, because it'll retrograde back into Sagittarius till 22 degrees. So it's going to be squaring Neptune and Pisces. It can be a little frustrating, and you just want to double check everything, make sure you have all the details. Take the time to slow down and think about the transaction that you're making. I know for me, I could have probably saved myself some money and time going back to just end up returning something that I didn't need when the universe was giving me the signs, like my credit card wasn't going through, or the credit card machine itself was not cooperating. Those kind of things are signs that, okay, really think about this purchase. Basically, like, if it's not going through, don't push it. Something else is probably waiting in the wings. That's going to be something even more worthwhile, or worth your money, or you can save yourself the time and energy, and just put the card away. And that's another thing with the aspects to Jupiter. There could be a tendency to kind of go overboard. There's opposition to Venus in Scorpio. So Jupiter and Venus will be opposing each other, which really speaks to like obsessions, like you're obsessed with this, whatever it might be that you just have to have, or it could be a relationship. Like Venus is related to things that we want, desire, self-worth, and in Scorpio it can be very intense, like obsessive, like just going for whatever you want until you have it. But you just have to, make sure that it's something that is sustainable. That Saturn is in Pisces, and it is trining Venus, so we just have to keep that in mind, that the Saturn is there to really help you discern and help you with your decisions. All the Jupiter aspects, it's important because we're going to have a new moon in Sagittarius. It's a Sagittarius season. The sun is in Sagittarius. The moon is going to be conjunct the sun on the 12th, which is the new moon, which gives it the new moon. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So the aspects that Jupiter is making for this week, next week, for the rest of the month, for as long as the sun is in Sagittarius, it's going to be very significant, and it'll set the tone for the next 6 months or so. With Jupiter, it's going to go direct at the end of the month. So on December 30th, Jupiter goes direct. On the 1st of January, Mercury goes direct. So that's pretty significant. So it'll go direct at 22 degrees Sagittarius. So it'll move forward through Sagittarius, and it's going to square those planets in Pisces, so Neptune, and then if you have anything in Virgo, it'll also square those planets. So, I mean, there's going to be a revision, like kind of like a final revision to those, tasks, responsibilities, promises that you've been working on. And then it'll move into Capricorn. When does it move into Capricorn? That's also something good to know. Mercury moves back into Capricorn on January 14th. And it will still be in a post-retrograde shadow because it's going to be going over those same degrees that it went backwards over. So up until 8 degrees, it will be in shadow. So when it gets to 8 degrees, that will be January 21st. So, I mean, between now and January 21st, those are times to actually revise and review, like I said, reflect. Probably find yourself reminiscing about the past, looking at old photos. That was another thing with this retro shadow, is having to delete old photos because of not enough storage on my phone, and that's another Mercury retrograde thing, like phone issues, technology issues, gadgets and whatnot. But in the process of deleting these photos, there's also this, you find yourself like reminiscing and looking at these old videos and photos and like, wow, I still have this. And then it becomes a decision of like whether to keep it or not. But with Mercury and Capricorn, it's a little quicker to decide. Because, Mercury Capricorn doesn't really like to waste time. So it's like making quick, kind of blunt decisions. Almost tactless, So that's just something to keep in mind too. Like, Mercury and Capricorn is, all business. I'm like wanting to be very productive with your words. So that can be another thing to look out for. And just keep in mind, like, if you're feeling like people are being short, just, like, remember that Mercury's in Capricorn and people just need to get some shit done. And with the trine to Jupiter, it's really like, money is on the mind, stability is on the mind, like really taking care of business and laying some foundations. So that can be a thing that is playing out. I mean, there's a lot going on with the new moon. The new moon is on the 12th of December, and there's going to be a Moon-Mars conjunction in Sagittarius right before the new moon. So that can, like, the moon is emotions and Mars is aggression, and in a fire sign like Sagittarius, that can be, that could look like a lot of enthusiasm on the, high side, but also tempers. So like there's a lot of like lighting a fire. There could be fires, like metaphorically or literally. So just keep that in mind and try to remember that is going on. And if you come across situations where people are kind of getting out of hand, to not fan the flames. I mean, if anything, if you can, diffuse the situation. But yeah, it is a trine to the North Node as well. So the North Node again is our destiny point. It's a direction that we are moving into to balance out the opposite energies, which the North Node is in Aries. So we are looking in that direction to take care of ourselves. Aries is very independent, and like instinctive, like very acting from the heart. And the opposite of Aries is Libra. So the South Node is in Libra, which is more people-pleasing, codependent, and like it is an overthinking. I mean, Virgo is very overthinking, is ruled by Mercury, but Libra can like weigh the options almost too much, where there's like an indecision. And so we want to let go of those tendencies and go toward more the impulsive, like acting from the heart. Don't think so much, just do it. Going for it without thinking. And I've kind of played around with this, and it is productive to like really just go with your gut instinct rather than thinking about it too much. And the more we improve our intuition, like the more we kind of detach and turn off things that are being fed to us, like the news, we're able to tune into our own intuition and let our own intuition guide us instead of letting these external factors interfere with our channel, basically. And there's another thing with this weekend with Jupiter trine Mercury is productive energy to get shit done. It can also be like exaggerations and sensationalized headlines, and so not a good time to take in news. Like I don't think it ever is, really, because we already know what the mainstream media's objective is. So rather than listening to the news, maybe tune into like some new music or create some music, like something different, like create something maybe instead of taking in, like instead of being a passive listener, maybe you're more of an active listener and you're contributing to whatever might be at play. Even humming, chanting, singing along, dancing. Jupiter and Taurus can definitely be an energy of, like letting your energy just kind of move with the music. So there's a lot of good energy to take advantage of this weekend. Just have to keep in mind that there could be like feelings of generosity, like you want to be generous with your gifts or your money, and like there is that. And then on the flip side of that, there's also like egos and megalomania that can also play out. To me, that could also look like entitlement. I mean, especially with Mercury and Capricorn. Capricorn can be kind of, it is authoritarian. So Capricorn energy has a tendency of having the, authoritarian, but also condescending at the same time. So that's something to watch. If you have that tendency, like try to lean into the opposite energy of Cancer, which is more emotional and nurturing, instead of so like authoritarian and what I have the last word and what I say goes. So less of that and more of like, are you okay? How are you feeling about this? And is there something I can do to help? And this weekend with all the Jupiter aspects, it's kind of like a test of restraint. Like there is that tendency to go overboard with all this like big, inflated, like overindulgent energy. So it's kind of a test of restraint. There's a sextile between Jupiter and Saturn, so that's a creative opportunity to limit yourself. Kind of, Saturn is restrictions, limitations, diligence, integrity. So having the integrity to kind of know when enough is enough. So yeah, that's gonna be fun to observe. Yeah, Mercury in retro shadow is real, and it's just like kind of hovering right over my ascendant, my Capricorn 5-degree ascendant. So feeling it, and yeah, it could be like a feeling of like work piling up, and you don't know where to start. Like you end up kind of, it's like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Because then, like for me personally, I'll like get into something and then I'll come across something else and be like, oh, let me just do this real quick. But then that ends up taking over the rest of the night, and then I didn't complete what I had planned to do. So that's something to also be aware of. So just like trying to stay on task and focused. Easier said than done, of course, but yeah, doing our best. That's pretty much all we can do. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. And yes, if you have any questions, hit me up on my Linktree or Calendly. I can be found at Gemstrology, GEMSTROLOGY, on those Calendly and Linktree, or my Instagram at Jamtastic. Alright, cool. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the energies. Alright, take care.